My name is Martin Bald. I'm the Community Manager at Wallaroo.ai, and in this video we will show how you can do model testing and model validation inside a production environment. In the model validation example that we'll use will be A/B testing, and you can go through this tutorial yourself. If you go to docs.wallaroo.ai, you can download this along with other tutorials, and you can also run these from within our free community download portal and set yourself up either in AWS, Azure, or GCP, or even on premises. For the purposes of the video and this example, we're going to go through A/B testing. There are two ways of validating models in a production environment: A/B testing and also shadow deploy. So I encourage you to have a look at the shadow deploy video that will show you that different approach. The best analogy that we can give for model validation and model testing is similar to a drug company. That a drug company are creating a drug that fixes a specific ailment, and once they've developed that drug, they want to go through a clinical trial to validate that drug. And so the similar approach here with A/B testing is that we want to validate that our trained model is performing the way we expect it to. It is giving us the accuracy and the results that then in turn become valuable to our business and also our end customers. And so within this tutorial, what we'll do first is we'll just tee up our environment. So I'm going to connect to the Wallaroo instance. I will create my workspace, and I'll get this up and running. And so we're now ready to go and upload our models. And so we have two models here. We have the champion or the control model and the challenger model. These models are based on the open source Aloha models, which determine whether URLs for websites are malicious or whether they are legitimate. And so let's set up our champion model, and then we'll set up upload our challenger. And then the next step for us is to establish and define our pipeline. And so we'll be running a data set through here, about 1,000 rows of data. And we want to then split the distribution of that inferencing across the challenger model or the champion model. And so that we want to set up a 2/3 split of that data. And this line of code here allows us to establish that for 2:1 for control to challenger. And so once we get that established, next step for us is to deploy our pipeline. And so this will take anywhere up to 45 seconds. If you have deployed ML models to production, you'll appreciate that 45 seconds is a fraction of the time that it will take. Sometimes it can take hours and days, depending on the infrastructure, the different technologies to be considered, and so on. And so what we have here is we've deployed that pipeline into production in a matter of seconds, and we can see that our pipeline is active, and we can also see that our models are uploaded. So we have two models, our challenger and control, and we're ready to go here for testing those. And before we run the full 1,000 rows of data through this, we want to run a single inference. And so what we will do is we will run this 5 times just to make sure that that 2:1 distribution is performing the way it is intended to. And so we can see here from the output that we have our control, and then challenger, control. If I ran this again, I would get slightly different output. So I have control, challenger, and again, we could just keep running this again just to make sure that this is, giving us the distribution that we want. So great, this is working for us. And now we want to step up to the actual sort of model validation stage. And we're going to run about 1,000 rows of test data through this pipeline. And that will give us the opportunity, A, to make sure that still that distribution is performing the way it should be, and B, that we can then move to the next step of finding out which model here is performing better. Is it the control model or is it the challenger model? And while this is running, we can quickly go back into view our pipeline, and we can see that inferencing is running for us. So we can see the number of requests per second. We can see our inference rate. We can also see our latency as well, the performance, and then if we need to, we can look at other audit logs, etc. So let's go back into our notebook, and we can see that from our output, we have that 2-to-1 distribution. So we have 673 for control, 327 for our challenger. Now we want to test that challenger model and find out what the accuracy rate is. So we can see here that our control model is giving us about 97%, and similar to the challenger model, it's slightly lower. But depending on your use case, if this is credit card fraud detection, for example, and you're getting millions of transactions coming through, that difference of 0.001 might make a significant difference. And so in our interest here, our control model is performing better than the challenger. And so we're actually going to keep this, and then we might run another test later on, as things like data drift and so on might occur as well. And again, we can make sure that this is performing the way it's supposed to. Final step here for us is to undeploy, and again, this will take a matter of seconds, and we'll run through. Thanks very much for your time on this video. Please, as I mentioned, you can check out the shadow deploy video and other videos that we have on our channel. Thank you. Bye-bye.